In the 1980s, America believed the devil had come for its children. Daycares were accused of human sacrifice. Teachers were called cult leaders. Families were torn apart. And courts handed down life sentences based on stories of underground tunnels, ritual orgies, and blood-soaked ceremonies. But years later, the evidence vanished, the memories faded, and the truth? It may have never existed at all. This is the story of the Satanic Panic and the forgotten lives it destroyed. The year was 1983, and the place? Manhattan Beach, California. A young mother accused staff at the McMartin Preschool of sexually abusing her son. Her claims were shocking. Secret tunnels under the school, children flown on planes for ritual abuse, and cloaked figures performing satanic ceremonies. Authorities panicked. The media exploded. Soon, over 300 children were interviewed, many giving bizarre, detailed confessions involving ritual murder, blood drinking, and animal sacrifices. There was just one problem: no physical evidence was ever found. Still, the McMartin case spiraled into the longest and most expensive trial in American history. 7 people were charged. 2 went to trial. 1 spent 5 years in jail before all charges were dropped. The rest? Their reputations were destroyed. Their lives shattered. Across the country, therapists, police, and social workers began using controversial techniques like leading questions, hypnosis, and recovered memory therapy to dig out alleged abuse. Children were told, if you can't remember what happened, that means something happened. Under pressure, kids claimed they were forced to eat feces, kill babies, and worship Satan. Entire communities were gripped by fear. Talk shows ran wild. Books like Michelle Remembers, a now debunked memoir of satanic abuse, became bestsellers. Daycare centers were raided. Parents and teachers were arrested. Many of these cases ended in wrongful convictions based on testimony that later unraveled. It wasn't just daycares. Foster homes, churches, even Girl Scout troops became suspects. America had entered a kind of modern-day witch hunt, only this time the witches were neighbors, teachers, and mothers. One of the darkest examples came out of Kern County, California. Between 1982 and 1986, dozens of children accused their parents, grandparents, and neighbors of being part of a massive satanic sex cult. The stories were horrific. Infants murdered, children chained in basements, satanic symbols carved into skin. 36 people were convicted. Several were sentenced to hundreds of years in prison. But by the 1990s, the stories began falling apart. Children recanted. Evidence was re-examined. It became clear many of the confessions had been coerced. At least 26 people were exonerated, some after spending decades behind bars. One couple, Scott and Brenda Kniffen, were imprisoned for 12 years based solely on their son's testimony, which the boys later admitted was a lie fed to them by overzealous investigators. How did this happen? Sociologists point to the perfect storm: rising crime rates, religious fundamentalism, a culture obsessed with protecting the children, and a media eager for horror stories. Then there was the fear of Satanism, fueled by heavy metal music, Dungeons and Dragons, and pulp horror films. TV shows like 2020 and Geraldo Rivera's specials aired shocking interviews with former Satanists, claiming babies were being bred for sacrifice in America's suburbs. Churches held satanic ritual awareness seminars. Police were trained in occult crime detection. Even the FBI got involved. But in 1992, FBI agent Kenneth Lanning published a groundbreaking report, concluding there was no evidence of any widespread satanic cult network. The ritual abuse stories, almost all were found to be fabrications, exaggerations, or delusions. In the end, thousands of lives were affected. Innocent people were branded as monsters. Families were torn apart by false allegations. Children were traumatized by coercive therapy and public trials. And the public learned a hard truth. Sometimes the greatest evil isn't in the shadows. It's in our fear of them. Today, the Satanic Panic is often dismissed as a bizarre footnote in history. But many of the victims, both accused and accusers, still live with the consequences. Some never got justice. Some never got an apology. And some still believe it all really happened. Mass hysteria, false memories, and a nation willing to believe in devils. The Satanic Panic wasn't just a moment in time. It was a mirror, one that showed how fear can make us abandon reason and destroy the very people we claim to protect. So what do you think? Was it all delusion? Or was something darker lurking beneath the surface? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more true stories that dig into the forgotten horrors of history, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because fear fades, but panic leaves scars.